I'm not okay. It's one of the hardest sentences that many people will ever say in their life because they've been brought up with this expectation that they need to be able to do everything, be everything without any kind of exception or qualification. So when you finally figure out that something might be wrong with you, the first and the hardest step is saying, I'm not okay. What we're going to do today is we're going to talk about that situation and what you do next. That's on STP today.
Welcome to Shattered the Podcast.
Sharing the lived experience of mental illness on
A father,
a mother.
A family.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I'm not okay. The first time I ever had to say that to myself with the thought that perhaps I had a mental illness was devastating. I had gone to work. I didn't realize that I'd been showing signs of burnout and exhaustion and depression and anxiety. I had no concept that I was in any trouble whatsoever. But then I was sent into a workplace where I was violently assaulted. And a psychologist later on said it was the straw that broke the camel's back. I'd suffered a lot of injuries in my work time career. I was working with some very dangerous, violent people, trying to help them modify their behavior. So I walked into this place knowing that something was not okay, but thinking that I dealt with it in the past, so I deal with it now. I mean, I was married, I had children, I had to go to work, I had to earn a living, but I only knew one job. I couldn't envisage doing any other job. Couldn't work in a shop. That'd just drive me crazy. Couldn't be a public servant, just not a good fit. So I went to work, came home a broken, shattered man. And I had to admit to myself that I was not okay. Now, let me set the stage for you. Looking at me now, I would imagine that you are fairly confident that I am really in touch with my feelings and enjoy a good cry now and then. Yeah, nah, you couldn't be more wrong. When I was growing up, you could cry. You were allowed to, but it needed to be for something like, somebody died or your arm got ripped off in a tractor accident, something like that. But crying, sooking, being a sook, was the worst possible thing that you could be labeled as. Now, here I was, come home from work. I'm 35 years old. I'm a responsible family man. I've got a beautiful family, lovely wife, great kid. And I can't stop crying. And I'm frightened. I mean, I'm more than frightened. I'm terrified 24/7. I can't sleep. I'm going days without getting sleep. I might doze for 10 minutes here and there, but the idea of actually going to sleep became something that was impossible for me. I just didn't even bother trying. You get to 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and I would still be as awake as if it was midday. After 5 or 6 days of this, you kind of go into a bit of a weird psychosis. And I did. Coupled with the depression, which for me it's like being crushed, and I'm claustrophobic. So, and I'm so claustrophobic, I've never been able to sleep in a sleeping bag. So when you're depressed and it feels like you're being crushed, you feel claustrophobic, it's terrifying. It's not comfortable. It's not, it's physically uncomfortable. Physically, it just jars you. So I had to admit to myself that I was not okay. And that was even after going to see a doctor, and he's like, man, you've got PTSD so bad. There's not even a problem with diagnosing it. He said, I'm just looking at you. I was stuttering, my hands were shaking uncontrollably. They still shake, but not as bad as they used to. I had all these physical signs, my inability to go to work. And yet I was not willing to admit to myself that something was wrong. It wasn't until a couple of weeks into actual treatment that I started to say, all right, yep, no, something has fundamentally changed inside of me. And I am a different person to who I wanted to be and who I hoped to be. So I had to say to myself, Mark, you are not okay. And I had to own it. I had to take it on board. I had to believe it. I had to become my reality. You are not okay. Things are not right with you. So the title of the show is What Next? So for me, what next was diving deeper into my therapy, attacking my therapy as hard as I could. And I got to tell you, I hated going to see a psychiatrist. It was like a marathon. And you'd get to a point in your day where you weren't thinking about all the crap in your mind. And then you get the thought, oh, I've got to go see the psych and I've got to dig all this stuff up. I got to dredge it. I got to think about it and I got to deal with it. And I don't want to. And it was painful going to get the help. But thankfully, I stuck with it because I knew that I was not okay. And it was so hard to act on that realization and just take it on as almost an identity at the time. My identity had been built about being independent and strong and tough, never particularly smart, but, I could take it. I could take a hit. And I thought this is what had happened at work. I'd just taken another hit. I didn't realize that that hit was earth shattering. It was an earth shattering event. And that's the reality that I had. So, all right, what next? As I said, owning it is the first and most important thing. Understanding and accepting that this is your reality, that hang on, I am not okay. Now, the thing is, I went for years without telling anybody outside my mental health team that I was not okay. I didn't tell workplaces. I didn't tell friends. Not that I had many friends after 2-3 years of having a mental illness, but inside, I was allowing myself to be not okay. It's hard talking about this stuff sometimes. So I'm not okay. What do I do next? Well, the first and most important thing is to talk about it. And that's what I did. I think I must have said to my wife, mate, I am not okay. And she's kind of looking at me like, duh. That's why we're sitting in a psychologist's office. She didn't, but she should have. To her, that was, she could see it. I mean, she saw it from the minute I got home from work. Like, my husband, where's my husband? Who is this guy? She knew it. She was aware of it. But I had no idea. And so I've told her, I'm not okay. And this is like a, a seismic event in my emotional development. And to her, she's just like, yep, I know. So given all the good intentions in the world, I still was not prepared to say that, hang on, something is broken inside my head. Something is damaged. I've been injured in such a way that my reality now is different and I'm not okay. went into the psychologist's office and said, I'm not okay. And again, she should have gone, well, duh, but she didn't. She realized that I needed to come to that realization myself. And that's what you need to do, is to find somebody that you trust, somebody that you feel safe with. Tell them that you're not okay. That is the first and best thing that you can do. There's Are You Okay Day, which I love. I'm fully supportive of Are You Okay Day. I'm advocating, though, for an I'm Not Okay Day, where you can identify yourself without a prompt to a person that's safe. How would it work? I don't know, but maybe you got a sticker or a badge on you with a smiley face. No, I'm an ally. And if you see somebody with that sticker, you can walk up to them and say, hey, I'm not okay. I think that's a great idea. Trademark me. Um, all jokes aside, admitting to yourself that you're not okay, it's hard yards, man. It's tough. The idea that I can't be what I wanted to be, the idea that, and it's not a real belief, but a belief that everything that you are hoping and striving towards, a marriage, a family, a job, a career, a success, are all gone. It's hard to admit that, and to think that as soon as I admit it, that all of that stuff's going to happen. As soon as I say I'm not okay, everything is gone, everything is over. That's not true at all. Yes, my reality has changed. My dreams have changed. My hopes have changed. But I don't feel empty. I don't feel lost. I found a purpose through the pain. I found a hope beyond what I saw in my own mind. I'm living proof that to say that you're not okay is not the end of the world. In fact, in many ways, it's the beginning of a brand new one. I had somebody say something to me, and I'm only saying this as an example because I don't believe it at all. They said to my wife that I'm one of the most empathetic people that they've ever met. Never seen anybody with as much empathy, care for others as what they saw in me. Now, like I said, I don't believe that for a second, but it's a lovely thing for somebody to say. And I got to tell you, nobody would have said it before I was hurt. I was caring, I was empathetic, I was working with people with disabilities, I was a feminist, I was a woman's activist, but all these things were gone. I'm surprised at how much I've struggled today. I really am. I thought this wouldn't be a big deal for me, but it clearly is. So I'm going to leave it there. I hope you don't mind. Um, I'm just really struggling today. This is a subject that's obviously close to my heart, and I'm going to have to spend some time thinking about it. So, what I will say is that if you are not okay, reach out. Hey, I don't care if you jump on and do a comment in this, Mark, I'm not okay. Just saying it to yourself, saying it to somebody that you're not okay. It's one of the bravest things that you can do. But do try to find somebody that you trust, somebody that you know implicitly will not betray you or hurt you. And that might even be somebody anonymous like a Lifeline counselor or Beyond Blue or Kids Helpline. Any of these places, you can call them up and you can just simply say, I'm not okay. And that'll start the discussion. Maybe you know somebody that is not okay and you want them to come to that realization that they're not okay. Some people will never allow that thought to creep into their head. And you might know somebody that is struggling, clearly is struggling and doesn't see it. Well, your love and your compassion will trump their inability to see their pain. And if you love them and care for them enough to gently and quietly pull them into the light of just saying, mate, I don't think things are all right with you. I'm really concerned about you. What's going on in there? You don't seem yourself. All these little conversations, and you might get shot down 9 times out of 100, 99 times out of 100. 9 times out of 100 is not too bad a ratio. You might get knocked down a lot. No, I'm fine. Leave me alone. But caring and compassion is never wasted. Even if you don't see the results of it, being kind to somebody, it's the unseen triumph. You might not see that they are aware of your compassion, but maybe at night they'll sit there and think, hang on, I think that person cared for me. What is it? The expression, a kind word turns away wrath. Somebody will come to you angry. If you say, mate, I really like your hair today. Looks really good. I don't know what to do with that. And believe me, I've tried it. It's hilarious. You watch somebody like just, what? It's like, yeah, man, I meant to tell you the other day, I noticed you got a haircut. No, I really like it. Now, what happened? What can I help you with? Watching them do that mental gymnastics to, hang on, I'm mad at you. Oh, that's so nice. But I'm so nice. But I'm mad. But just keep plugging away. Do the best that you can. If you're not okay, reach out. If you know somebody that isn't okay, reach out to them. Show them love. Show them compassion. Show them that it's okay to not be okay. Have a great week. Subscribe, like, and share, please. I would love you to do that. I hate asking, but my social media people say I have to. So there you go. Have a great week. I'll talk to you soon on Shattered the Podcast. Thank you for listening to Shattered the Podcast. I'd like to thank our producer, Meredith Brosnan, our executive producer, Torian Lau, and the band Adelaide for allowing us to use their song as our theme. Go to shatteredthepodcast.com for more information.